Hello, namaste. It's Bharati here with a Spirit Balance podcast for you. And today I have a very special guest. Her name is Nina Rath and she lives in Austria. She is a filmmaker and she studied in Australia. Also, she studied with a Gong master, which is very interesting. She is a very, sensitive soul who writes also poetry. So she has a beautiful page on Facebook called Nina's Poetry. And I'm really happy you joined my podcast today, Nina. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to be here. Thank you.
Yes. So how are you in those very special times?
In general, I'm actually really good. I feel that I do have more and more energy overall, but it's the quality for me feels like contracting and expanding. It's really, for me personally, it's times when there's like, it's all contracting and I feel a lot of pressure on myself, and then it's expanding again and I feel very free and liberated. But it goes in waves, and it's also sometimes really challenging just to stay fully present, not be overwhelmed by all the information you receive and the changes that are happening right now. It's a very, very intense time, but also a very beautiful at the same time. When you spend time in nature, and a lot of time in nature, it's really beautiful.
Yes, I mean, there are many people who cannot be in nature. I mean, can you imagine that? Being in lockdown somewhere and have to stay in a house without even a balcony. I mean, whoa. And I know how you live there in this most amazing mountain area, and it's so beautiful. So you spend a lot of time there right now in nature, more than before?
Yeah. Where I live, actually, it feels like you're already outside. So sometimes I'm not all the time in the forest or something, but I try to be outside as much as possible, and also next to the real elements, like being next to the water, real water, streams, rivers, for example, really helps. Next to the fire, or just feeling the earth, like really having the connection to the earth, is much more valuable than even, I don't know, half a year ago. It feels like security, safety, and grounding. It's for me personally, this is the big way to balance again.
Yes, I can relate very much to that. I mean, when I went very crazy, I mean, we're also living near the forest, or in the forest actually. So I also felt like, wow, my mind changed so much just taking a walk for half an hour, just sitting on a waterfall. I just went to a waterfall before I did the podcast, and before that I really had different thoughts, and then being on the waterfall, it's so clearing. And I think also that some of us feel maybe more than others because we might be more sensitive and also having more intuition and things. So are you feeling also that you are one of those who feeling more than others, and how you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I have no comparison because I don't know how others feel, but I do feel a lot of things, also emotions from other people, or just energies when you walk into a room, and I can pick up a lot of things. But the problem is then to distinguish really what is my own and what am I just taking on. So it can be a great way of seeing what is going on at places or with people if you're very sensitive, but it can be also very challenging to set clear boundaries and also not allow certain things to come in, because I don't need to feel everybody's stuff all the time. So it's both.
Right. And is that the reason also why you went into that Gong energy? Because I mean, I knew Gong before, but when I came to your amazing place, you invited me for Gong bath. And I were at Gong bath before, but then you told me you learned with a Gong master, and I could really feel there's a difference in how you play the Gong than I knew it from before. And I was so amazed because I was like, wow, I know Zen master, I know mantra master, I know meditation masters, I know Buddhist masters, but gong masters, and you stayed with the gong master. And I had a really intense experience in one of your gong bars. So yeah, I really would love to hear more about that from you, your experience in that, and also how that energy is helping to purify.
So for me, it was really a big synchronicity of finding the gongs, because I was living in an ashram in Australia for 1.5 years, and then a friend of mine called me and said, I thought about you 10 times last week, you have to come to this singing bowls evening. And so I went there, and it was nice, but it was not wow, it was nice. And then I really said, please, universe, if there's anything else I need to do right here, please now, because I'm super tired and I want to go home. And the next person I spoke with was the gong master. And he said, I have a gong space with beautiful ancient instruments and I can show you. And I was interested. And then I went there a week later, and he gave me a short introduction of the gongs and played for 15 minutes. And within these 15 minutes, I was completely removed from my small Nina identity. It was a bit scary at the beginning, because I thought like, wow, it's like there's so much space. There's so much space, and it was not so relevant anymore. Who I am, where I am, what I am, all these like, and it was so fast that I was in this time spaceless field. Within 15 minutes, it was just like, that I was like, oh my God, now I'm spending 1.5 years in the ashram meditating every day, but this just takes me there in 15 minutes, and it's so direct, it's so fast. And at the same time, I felt it's very safe. You know, it was not like taking drugs or having to deal with side effects or something. I felt I could always stand up and go away if I want to. But at the same time, I felt this is something very ancient, very powerful, and very beautiful. And then a few months later, I even moved in to live with the gong master, and he taught me a lot of the things he knows, and I spent a lot of time with the gongs. And since I then came back to Austria, I also practice it here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have these 2 big gongs, which you also put in the back of your car and drive around to give gong meditation concerts. And yeah, that is a lot of work to put them in there large, right? To put them in and put them down and
Yeah.
put them there. And so, and I was really amazed my experience I had with the gong, but also to see other people's experiences. So how many years are you doing that now yourself, and what are your most profound experiences with people, how they react on gongs, on the gong bars?
So I do it now, let's say, not so long actually, let's say around 2 years, maybe even a little bit less, that I really work intensely with it, because I just came back from Australia in 2019 and I was introduced there. But the experiences that I had with people also showed me how powerful it is to work with sound and sound healing, and especially really ancient instruments, because I cannot explain what happens, because it's so individual. Like, some people feel a lot of body movement, and that their problem zones in their body gets better, or it starts to move, like the energy starts to work when you have problems with your belly, for example, or with your neck. You have a lot of tension in your neck. They're more physically oriented. Other people recall past lives, and they say they go through a whole memory of a past life and then resolve it at the end. Others have memories of childhood experiences. So for me, as far as I understand it right now, it's sort of, the gong just helps you to raise your own level of vibration with sound, and whatever is needing to come up for you right now in the development where you are right now is coming up easier and faster, and is sort of amplified. And of course, this can be also challenging, but if you go through, it's really a liberation process. but this can also be very beautiful, like that you just manage that the inner chatter calms down and that you can fully relax. People sometimes tell me, or actually many times, that they sometimes sleep for 10 hours straight after the gong bath, or 12 hours, and so it's so individual, and and I'm always amazed by the feedback of the people. It's a new facet or a new aspect that I was not aware of, how it can work and help people.
Right, because I remember being at your place, and then you played a gong for women who were in the darkness retreat. And, you know, wow, I mean, she had the experience of negative energies or even entities going out of her body. Do you see that more often?
I don't see it that often, but sometimes people tell me that they have these experiences, which I find also, yeah, interesting when it happens, that they literally feel like they had some, they describe it, yeah, as like heaviness, or like even entities sometimes that were around their field and that they were like literally lifted off them. And sometimes there's a struggle period where they struggle in the sound bath, and sometimes not. Um, yeah, so it does happen, but I'm, I, I would be very interested in how, if that's like stays that way, or if people are, or if, yeah, if this is a permanent thing or not. This would be something long term that I would have to, follow people on their journey. Because in the sound space, a lot of things can happen, but then the question is how much it can integrate and become your new level, let's say. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's the same like, with my view of things, where sometimes I think my view of things, okay, then everybody has that. Like when I had the gong bars, I had immediately an out-of-body experience. I was like, wow. And I felt like I have to get a gong too, because I do seminars on out-of-body experiences. With that, everybody can go in out-of-body experiences, but it's not like that. I think it really picks you up on where your consciousness is right now, right? And also in which, with what intention you also might go into, right?
Absolutely 100%
Mm.
correct. Because I had a friend who stayed with me for a while, and we did a lot of gong baths. Actually, we did just 3 gong baths with her, but it was a very, very deep topic she was dealing with. She was abused as a child by drunken men. And during that period of the gong baths, over, let's say, a week, um, she started to smell of alcohol, even though she doesn't drink since 15 years, not a bit. And we were 2 people, me and my partner, were witnessing that it smells like alcohol in the house, and we were like, this is so strange, it smells so. And so she took a bath every day and also tried to clean a lot of things out. But this was really astounding to me, how deep it can work. And I think it only worked so deeply because she had the real intention to get rid of all this stuff that she was still carrying from her childhood. She was like really 100% clear that this is something that I now fully, resolve. And that's why it really fast went really deep. And you could even, like, I cannot explain why I would smell alcohol in the house. We didn't drink, she didn't drink, but because the whole thing was around sexuality, drunken men, like it was very heavy. But then after 3 long sessions, she had a dream that she went through a house, and she even went into the base, and it was all painted in white. And that was like a message she interpreted, that she's now clean from this energy.
Wow, that is amazing, Anina. And I think really what we're talking about here is entities. And I feel also that the knowledge of the entities and the beings in the astral worlds and in the spiritual worlds, you know, that there's too less knowledge out there, and people don't know. You know, we're connecting to that every day, and just we don't, or most of us cannot see it. Doesn't mean it's not there, right? And I think also personally that is why many who are very sensitive right now are feeling the waves. I mean, I have times like that too, and because it's not just with the mind we're getting things, there's some other sense there, and if that sense becomes very strong, you really getting it, and you really open up to that, and it can also manifest itself. And that's why I feel the topic of decharging negative energy is so important, because if we want to raise up our vibration, we have to find ways. Is it with a gong? Is it with a nature? Is it with a singing? For you, I know also it's a poetry, to always lift up, lift up, lift up. And I know you have a lot of experience like this. And this is what I love on you personally so much, your honesty, and also your just raw being dealing with that. Yeah. You like to share something, some experience, how you went from some feeling something dark and then switching it up to light, because I feel that something your experience also will help a lot of other souls as well.
Sure. This especially links to the time that we're experiencing right now. Many times over the last weeks, and especially also in a sound healing experience that I received. So I was not playing, I was receiving. I was feeling, okay, now I'm gonna die. And at the beginning there was some fighting and some struggle and some no, but I want to stay here and do my projects and stuff, and be with my partner. And but then I just said, it's okay, it's okay. I reached that point of saying it's okay, however it is, after that struggle. And always when this contracting comes back, where I again feel like, where's my air? Where is my, like, this more sort of, like really dense energy. I can now better and better get back into this space of lifting, being uplifted, by just saying it's okay. It's okay. Just let it be. Just let it be that way. And even though I heard it many times before, you know, it's all, we all have to be able to practice it. And it doesn't matter if you read it 50 times in a book or somebody says it to you. It really doesn't matter. It's about doing it on the spot when you get when you get overwhelmed by things. Yeah. Allowing, actually allowing is the key to letting go. That's what my a sound healing teacher taught me. He said, when people come and they want to get rid of their ex-partner because they're still so much hurt, they said, he said, no way you get rid of that. No way, because you are still holding on to. But if you allow it and give it the space that it just demands, and also look at it in a what was good actually at it, and just allow it to feel still this connection or this pain or this love or this appreciation or whatever, that is the key, that it's then suddenly losing grip of you, and even that you let it go. This was an interesting experience.
Wow, that's very powerful. You also had experiences like this just being in the nature?
Yes, I do have also recently that I had this feeling of pressure on my lungs and having problems with breathing. Even though I'm 100% healthy, I went even to the doctor and let myself be fully checked in the body. I have 100% normal body according to school medicine. But I felt this heaviness on my lungs, and I was not sure what should I do. You know, it's like when you really feel it and it's energetically really real, but doctors say you don't have any problem. What do you do? And then I had this strong impulse to go to the water, flowing water, pure nature water. And then I went to the river here in the mountains, and I sat there, and I started to sing some prayer songs. And I really prayed for this to instantly just be resolved. like not in 5 years, not in 3 weeks, or like really right now. And at that moment, within this half-hour period, I could feel almost like a bag that I was carrying on my shoulders being fully taken away. And then I started to cry because it was so instant. Like the relief was so instant, and the support when you are really in the forest next to the water, everything is so pure and so raw and so giving. It just gives itself. The water just gives itself. The pure air, the beautiful berries that grow, that it calibrates your frequency to our original state. I think that, this is what I would love to be and experience and share. It's just the natural receiving and giving in a very normal way, without analyzing, what am I getting from this? What is he getting? Like all this calculation that happens in the modern world. So the river in this time, just a few days ago, helped me so much that it was beyond the normal wellness or feeling good or being recharged, which you always feel when you're in nature, or most of the time. This was way beyond that. Like, this was really, really a deep healing experience, and I was so grateful, and I just spent time there to integrate and also really give thanks to the elements and to the spirits of the land, and just the power of nature itself,
Right. It's so powerful to connect with nature and with the five elements. And I feel that, many people don't even know about that power and forget about it because they're just in their homes or even in a lockdown where they don't have any nature. I mean, that is, very unbelievable for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important, this, we call it forest bathing. So there's a new word came out, I'm sure you know it too, right? Forest bathing. I find it very interesting. Since 1 year I hear that. So I'm going forest bathing. So it's not anymore, I'm going in the forest, I'm going forest bathing, because the energy can change your vibration. And then when I researched a little bit on that, I heard also that there are even scientific proofs why that is. But anyhow, we are females, we're more into the feeling and into going into that energy, and we are not here, we don't have to prove that everything. But still, it's so interesting how those things just naturally can happen, especially also when we send out that prayer. Are you using the gong for yourself also right now in these times to recharge, decharge energies? For sure, you're also an empath, also you're using the nature and you're using the project which gives you energy back, but also you feeling the gong also is helping you if you play the gong for yourself?
So the gong I play more for group settings or other people, but at the moment I'm working with crystal singing bowls and my own voice. This is what I do for just myself, and that is so beautiful. It's like the female counterpart to the gongs. I feel the gongs are like, really, for me personally, I feel very masculine, very powerful, like very penetrative, very it's so strong vibration, and it's just like, get on with it, it's and the crystal singing bowls, they're more like round. They have like they're made of silicium quartz, so it's the same material like quartz, like mountain pure quartz, and when you set that into vibration, there is your body instant reacting to it. And after 15 minutes, I'm in such a good space. And then I also chant with it and I sing with it. And I have the physical experience of upliftment, not just in the, in the mind where you have a nice thought, or you're like, your body just goes, oh, thank you. And this I do regularly. And this really helps me a lot. But even singing helps, or humming or silence, of course.
You also did an amazing movie about, maybe we can link that later here, about being vulnerable. and how to be truthful and not hiding with your masks. I mean, it has a very interesting meaning, especially right now. and I think personally in this world, we see a lot of people who have a lot of fear of being real and being vulnerable and being authentic, because they might get hurt so much. And guess what? We will get hurt so much, but at the same time, we have the chance to be lighten up so much that we can transform and getting stronger, and yeah, having this amazing unconditional love in us. So I love this movie so much. I mean, I personally watched it over 20 times or something. I feel it's the best piece you ever did, and I was like, oh, the kind of videos, the places you looked out for this, and the music, and wow. I wanted to ask you, what made you do that small video about, I mean, it's not video, your movie, you really do art in that. What brought you on that, especially to be vulnerable? What was your motivation?
It was also the answer of a real question I had inside myself. I was participating in a workshop called Finding Your Own Voice at university, and I was really unsure of what my own voice is. I was like, nice idea, but you know, what is my artistic voice? I really don't know. And then in the lecture, this guy suddenly started to talk about his real, true, authentic experience of his life, and was vulnerable, when he was really vulnerable. And this was so cool. I was like, he's a lecturer, and he's showing himself so vulnerable. And that's when the whole poem came through in like 5 minutes max. Like it was
boom, and it was boom in your crown chakra.
It was like, and this is the first moment I realized that when I'm in this receptive state, or in this like really like high energy state, that I can receive poetry. For me, it always works with poetry, and just write it down. And it was so fast that I did a video out of it, and I thought, what would be the most beautiful way to make a film with this? And when I suddenly started to play, just play like kids play, you know, because we didn't have any deadlines, we didn't have to do it. It was pure fun. But I felt every day when I was biking home from university, like my lover is waiting at home, you know, like the project is waiting at home.
Oh,
I can come back to play again and work it. Maybe we do it like this, or we do it like that, or no, we do it like it was this full freedom feeling that you have when you are, you know, playing. And that's how actually the first poetry short film that I've ever made came to life.
oh, it was because I didn't know. That is so interesting. I mean, it says so much of that we maybe here just to play and have fun and be in the online, and right, and that's why discharging is so important, to come back to that state. Or what you think?
Absolutely. And the more serious you take things, and the more better you want to do things, the less you are in this energy. Like you lose your connection the more serious you want to
Right.
make things. It's so interesting, time and time again. And when I do professionally work with film, you know, people have these expectations of how their project should look. You sort of have to pretend to be serious. But if you cannot maintain this inner joyful playfulness, the end result will not be good, and people will say, oh no, this is not what we, you know, had in mind. But if you are maintaining this, like, oh yeah, oh, we could, like, playfulness, then they say, oh, this was great, you really got what we wanted to communicate to you. It's interesting to just remind yourself, like, the more free you feel, the less pressure, the more it's not, you know, there's nothing you can lose, and if you fail, it's fine. And like this sort of freedom, the better the result, I think.
Absolutely. And it's also exactly the process you described of going that deep in the diving mode, that you even come to that point of, okay, I'm afraid of dying. Okay, and even if I just accept that, then there's a freedom. I mean, wow, that is very deep. And it shows how much our fears, small fears, but big fears, are just blockages, right?
Yeah, yeah. And in the vulnerability part, I remembered a line of Rilke, a famous poet. It's like your fears, your biggest fears are your biggest guardians for your biggest treasure. Um, and it really feels like that. They're just guardians, and you have to run through to get to the treasure and not be blocked away by.
Wow. What do you feel right now is, I mean, I know you're also doing the constant inner work. So I realize personally that there's always something. It's never stopping. If you think there, you got it, it comes to a different layer. And so it's very amazing to look into it, right? So what are you feeling right now is the next step? What is your biggest fear right now? Or what are you working on? What are your layers right now?
My biggest fear. I could speak, of course, globally, but I prefer to have say a more private answer to it, because since my whole life I had this skin problem, skin disease that I always had, like scratching and bleeding, and I think one of the biggest fears through that became just showing yourself as you are, because it was so painful many times, even to show my skin, just like my physical appearance, that I prefer to hide it. And that was causing even more pain, because you want to show your being, so not hiding away. And so, especially in these times where it's so sensitive what you say, because people go, wow, you have to wear a mask, wow, this is like, it's like there's so much charge in almost any topic you touch about corona, that it's just it's really hard to just be yourself and have your own opinion and say, this is what I feel.
So it's a perfect time for healing that, right? I mean, it's an amazing play field. If we believe that everything that happens to us has a reason and that we can grow from it, wow, we created all a big play field in that, right? A learning field.
Absolutely. And especially when it comes to people that you really care about and you have a totally different opinion, then it's hard to just stand your ground and say, well, we just see things very differently. If it's within your own family and stuff, this is very, very challenging. And I think the fear is always somehow connected with love. Am I losing the love? Am I losing the respect, or just the love? It's all about that. Yeah, but then when you remember, no, this internal love that can never be removed is not dependent on that person, or this job or that thing, then the calmness comes back for me. But yeah, that's the training.
Absolutely.
Daily training.
Oh yes, I know that one, and everybody has their own individual path on that, but I think that's exactly, there's only love or fear, so what are we choosing?
Yeah.
And the beauty on it is then when you really get the beauty of that divine energy, then those amazing things like that poem, or you can breathe and you dance and you're like, and then it seems so easy and you're like, okay, wait a moment. It's so easy. It's just a second away from what was before. So it's a different universe all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Wow. So what are you recommend? What are your most two beautiful, let's say techniques? It's a male thing, but yeah, let's say female ways. Oh yeah, let's say like that. What are the most beautiful female ways? What you feel to discharge and to come back to that source again and to connect again to the divine energy?
For me, it's really the humming or the singing at the moment, where it's not about singing like opera singer or singing like even not having a need to sing beautifully, but just like feeling your body vibrate when you hum, or when you or when you make any like movements within yourself that express through sound. This is so helpful, just to do it with yourself or nature, or with a meditation, or with friends. I do that with the crystal singing bowls, also in groups, where we come together as a group and then we hum together, or we chant together, and then the sound sculptures that come out of this collective overcoming the fear of not sounding great. It's like, maybe it doesn't sound great, who cares? It's like, this is you, this is your vibration, this is how you sound, and it's beautiful, you're here. It's like when you go through a grass meadow and everything sounds completely different, the bee, and then you have this bug, and you have everybody's, and the cicadas, and they don't question if they sound beautiful, they have their own sound, and so have we. And when we can tune into that and overcome all these, like, is it right, wrong, good, bad, when that liberates, you can feel a shift, and then you get the goosebumps, and then it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing this moment so raw with us together in the sound space, or with yourself. And I have one story I would like to share, because that really illustrates the power of it. I was once in a sauna, also with my partner, and I was at that edge of, it's too much, it's too warm, too hot, I want to go outside. And then my partner said, just stay for 5 minutes longer and hum, and just hum. And I could feel that I was really struggling, and I really wanted to shake off this experience and leave. It was really the rebellion of my ego. I could feel very strongly, like I couldn't stand still anymore, and I was like scratching, and just like, ugh. But after these like maybe 3.5 minutes, I reached that point of going beyond the resistance or the rebellion, and I was just fully chanting, like fully, like if the whole world depends on my singing. And it was so like liberating, that I was really shocked at the same moment that you can be so free. Like I have never experienced it like that before. and then my partner was there as well, and he was like, wow, this was powerful. And it was not created from, I want to be great or whatever. It was actually going beyond that point of resistance, where you really go like, no, I want to leave, I want to go. And then when you stay and you actually go through resistance and then sing, oh, this is indescribable joy, indescribable power. You are amazed by what is actually hidden. And the sauna for me helped just to raise that level of,
Point.
Yeah, point. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being a mother, giving birth to 2 kids, I know this kind of thing. In my first birth, I wanted to run away, and the midwife said, "Oh, well, it's not far away anymore." And I hid it in the toilet. I was a home birth, and I heard her saying to Martin, to my husband, "Oh, yeah, I know this one. She will realize that she cannot run away from herself." And I realized that, yeah, I had to go through. And then there's a point of, when you're really letting go, where you even can have an amazing experience with, not fighting it, and just getting so much power and so much joy. And it's really empowering, especially in the second birth. I felt that. And at that time I had a alone birth, so I didn't want to talk about that. It just comes because especially this energy, what you're talking about, to going through that resistance and not giving up, and still by this not giving up, it's so hard. You also not just accepting the hardship, but you want to come to that freeness of it, right? And I think that is also something where I feel in these times, which are very challenging and hard for people, we should also never give up, also in our own way of development, and not staying in our comfort zone too much, because it can really block us so much. Don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah. And going beyond that comfort zone is like, how do you do it, you know? And where's the fertile ground of growth? Where is it? What is it for you? You know, you don't have to confront people necessarily or start uncomfortable conversations or what. If this is your way, you can do that. But it's like, what is, for me, for example, it's like really being in front of a camera and even doing my poetry. This is very uncomfortable because it's so close to my heart and what I want to share, that it's also very vulnerable. And if people see it, they will judge it and they will like it or not like it. So it's like, it's out of my comfort zone. And it's a big question, just what it is for you. You know, what is the thing that you feel, it's like, it's exciting, but it's also a bit uncomfortable, both. You know, where is that ground? What, and nourishing at the same time, you know, not depleting your energy, but also energizing you. You get more and more energy by going through these layers.
Right. So beautiful, Nina. What is your dream project you want to work on with movie making? I mean, you had some piece where you got a beautiful award. So congratulations again on that. So maybe you want to share that. And then I would love to know, what is your dream project?
Oh, what a fantastic question. Dream project. So lately it came back, what I saw when I started making poetry films is the connection between contemporary dance and poetry and just beauty, like raw beauty, because I feel the world is so flooded with negativity and also art that is more intellectual, or, you know, I don't know, some concepts that people have in their brain, but it's not like this old divine ancient art of sharing divine beauty, which was really, the masters know how to craft words or how to craft sounds, and they were really humble. Like, they were not like, I'm the greatest. It's like you really have to be fully in the humbling space to even be able to receive these informations. So it's my dream project is just to stay in that space, or come back, because it's in and out. Sometimes I don't receive any poetry for weeks or months, like nothing comes through, and then that's okay as well. But just to be in this moment where it happens, like, and it doesn't matter actually what the project then is about. It's really not so important whether it's about darkness, retreat, or about, you know, this or that or the other. It's really the state that you're in whilst you create, that is the most fun.
Wow, I love that so much. So can you tell about that project where you got the award, and what kind of award that was, and how did that make you feel?
Yeah, so this was also an answer. I feel like many of these things have been, just make the light a little bit less because it's so intense. It's not so bright anymore. Yeah, like this, I don't know. This film was about intuition, the short film that I won an award with, and it was also the answer to a very, very grumpy question I asked also to my higher self and the universe, because for months I was hoping to receive a lot of money, that I can make great films that really help humanity, and I was just waiting for this big chunk of money to appear, that I can make this beautiful work, you know. And I was more depressed week after week after week, and it was turning me so much down at the end that I was like, okay, what shall I do and how shall I do it? Like, I'm done with this whole, you know, needing to wait for the money vibration, which I was broadcasting for months. um, which was so lacking my energy. It was like I felt so,
Only if I get that, then I can do some things.
oh, and I really believed it. It's not that I really believed, like, when I have that, I make big, great films about, and then I interview, I don't know, big names and do things, that I feel it's not even as original right now, I think. Anyway, so the answer came. I was really asking this grumpy question: what shall I do? Like, now I'm here, there must be something, right? Like, at least I hope there's something that I can do. And then also, because I was so in this grumpy space, I was not even like high fly, not at all. It was just like, really give me the answer right now. I'm done with this bullshit. It was just like, oh, I'm so done with myself. And then also the poem came within 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
10 minutes. It was chaka. It was so fast. And I made the film within 1 week with no budget. I had everything. It was just like chuck. And this was, I think, one of the most successful films I've made so far. And I didn't needed any money. It was screened at the Opera Gala of Illuminated Film Festival. They just put me as the opening film of the Consciousness Film Festival in Sedona. And I was like, what? What? And it won an award and stuff. But that's just the after effect, and that's not even that's not important actually anymore. It's about being in this space to create in this raw playground feeling that is so nurturing.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, I love the story so much, Nina.
I love it too.
Oh my gosh. And it's again, it's again how the mind can build a prison, and the mind can build a concept of only if you let it go, you get out of it, right?
Yeah. But sometimes you make it so hard for yourself, like so hard, especially with this whole money thing. It's always like, can I afford it or not? Do I need this to make this? And you're instantly out. You're instantly not thinking of possibilities, You are just calculating of what can I afford and what not. And this is so diminishing for creativity. For the intuition film, I didn't need any, or maybe I need 50 euros for extra footage, but I had everything. And then seeing also what you have, like really seeing, it was the full answer of the universe to my prayers. And I feel it's also much better story than if I said, well, I won $5 million and other people will go, great, well, I that's not a path, you can take. But when you go like, hang on, I've got a camera, I've got a voice, I've got a computer so I can cut, I can write poetry, so let's put it all together. And when we really look at, hang on, what do I have and how can I put it together? That's when this self-empowerment feeling comes, and you're not waiting for first this to come and then this and the job and the money and the house and the partner and this, where you're constantly dependent on something.
If I have that, then I'm happy. If I have that, then I'm going to get enlightenment. If I have this, then I'm having my life I wish for, right? Blah, blah, blah. The ego is so good in creating those stories.
So good. So good. And we all experience it. It's not, we all know it. Yeah.
Right. Wow, Nina, this is so amazing. I love to listen to you, and I'm really looking forward for your next projects. And for sure, I love to have you back here on this podcast. And because I know you always follow your heart, and with that you create amazing things. So I'm looking forward what that will be. And also very interesting one dream we both had and have, maybe still I want to share, was the idea to make a movie about darkness retreat and flying through all the places, flying to India, flying to to shamanic tribes who still have their children under a certain age in darkness, full darkness, and they get a very powerful open third eye through that. And we wanted to do that, and now this corona lockdown, airplane cannot fly, whatever, thing happened. Plus also, you know, our daily lives and things. I don't know if we would have be ready for this anyhow right now, and if we have to freeze certain mindsets until this can click in. But yeah, it's interesting. So I just want to put it out there. And I think also that in these times where we're going through right now, we have to see the light in the darkness. That is always our job. And I'm sure that your stories helped to touch a lot of hearts, Nina, and to give them a lot of ideas on how to get in touch with their own soul and their own empowerment. And I thank you so much for that. And I'm so happy I know you, Nina. I love you so much.
Yeah,
And
I'm so grateful because you also you nurture the courage to just be raw and honest, which I really am so grateful for. And you also, for example, helped me to go through conflicts. You know, I was really afraid of conflicts, and well, a few months back we had some conflicts, and also going back, this is also okay. You know, we can have conflict, no problem. Like all these things where we are so afraid of, and when we go through, it feels so much better. So this is really your quality, which I feel is this being authentically who you are, and allowing others to do the same, which I think is so needed and so liberating at this moment in time. So I really thank you for doing this, because we sometimes think, well, it's just small actions, you know, what is a podcast and what is this and what is that? But if we add it up, like all these little puzzle pieces, it does make a difference. And even if it's just one smile that you are feeling uplifted or just more calm, and just thank you for your work, and that you and Martin do, and your spirit balance work is great and profound, because I think to really help people to go through the darkness is not a fluffy duffy thing. No.
No, it's not a fluffy, fluffy thing. Yeah, and it brings us so much energy and joy. And thank you again that we are connected. Thank you, universe.
Yeah, thank you.
That brought us together. And I hope you all who view and listen enjoy and lift up, and don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. We love you all. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.